Hey, I'm athlete Larry Sorensen here, and today I'm going to do a spotlight follow-up with Rick Burgess, a 75-year-old Ironman. Before we get started, remember, if you enjoy our content, please like, subscribe, and ding that bell for notifications. And if you'd like to hear more about Rick's entire story, how he eats, how he trains, what motivates him to keep doing this, you can find his entire interview in the description below. All right, enough of me talking. Let's get this started. So, Rick, it's great to see you again. Why don't you tell us what happened in 2024 and what you got going on in 2025?
Yeah, thank you, Larry. It's good to be back. Well, when we last left each other, so I had done Ironman California in 2022. You know, it was a fine race for me. It's a big race, 2,600 people. I think I finished in 15:45, which in general, any Ironman you finish is good. But afterwards, I realized I was the oldest finisher out of 2,600 people. And I kind of thought, wow, if I was the oldest at 73, what in the heck would 75 be like? So coming into this year, and a lot of discussion with my wife, we decided to make this kind of a celebration year because, at one level, just being here at 75 is kind of a good deal. And another level, being able to, swim, bike, and run for long distances, albeit slowly, is something to celebrate. So for this year, for 2024, we decided to run all 5 California Ironman races. And that was my objective. And the whole idea was let's celebrate turning 75. So we started, let's kind of march through these quickly. The first one was Ironman Oceanside, which was 70.3, half-man Ironman down in San Diego or outside San Diego. A little nervous about that one because I hadn't done an Ironman in 16 months and I had never done that course before. And so, when you're going to be swimming in the ocean for 1.2 miles and the bike ride is 56 miles to Camp Pendleton and then a half marathon, it's easy to be a little nervous coming into it. But the day went really well. The swim went fine, a nickel faster, but they always could. The bike ride was good. It was hilly. In fact, it was surprising. A decent number of people actually got off their bikes and were walking their bikes up the big hills. I did not. But then the run went fine. So it turned out there were actually 8 people in the 75 to 79 age group starting, which is a relatively big number. But 5 finished, and I finished third of the 5. So I actually felt pretty good about that. The next race after that was Ironman 70.3 Morro Bay. So a little bit down the coast. I was pretty optimistic going into Morro Bay because it was an easier course, fewer hills on the bike. They actually advertised the swim as a saltwater lake swim. So I thought, aha, my swim time should be better. And then the day came and weather looked good and everything. And the water was cold at the beginning. It was 58 degrees, but that's not terrible. And you got a wetsuit on. But then pretty quickly after the race started, I guess net, the organizers didn't plan well for the tides. So there was a pretty strong incoming tide. So the swim was an out and back. So you swam out, I guess, faster than usual, made the turn, and the turn to start coming back. And I literally stopped. I mean, you just did not move. There's a funny video of like someone trying to, paddle a canoe and it's not going. So, and then with the cold water coming in from the ocean, the temperature dropped from around 58 to like 54. So it was a tough swim. At one point in time, I got to a buoy and there were 3 or 4 guys hanging on this buoy and I joined and we're just like, what is going on? But anyway, by then I was with like 400 or 500 yards to the shore, kind of gutted it out and went and finished. But my swim time was an hour and 18 minutes. I mean, for me, a slow swim would be 48, 50 minutes. But there were people that did this swim in over 2 hours. And I think over 400 people had to be pulled from the water because it was so cold and so hard. But anyway, so in Ironman, there's a swim cutoff of an hour and 10 minutes. I was an hour and 18 minutes. So I thought, well, this day is done. It's cold and chilly and shivering. And so I was happy just to have it behind me. But then later found out that Ironman didn't really enforce the cutoffs because the swim conditions were bad. So at one level, I could have kept going and I kind of regretted I didn't keep going because I probably could have finished. But, when you're that tired and you're that cold, maybe just letting go was smart. Anyway, next race, going a little further down, going still down the coast, was Ironman 70.3 Santa Cruz. And it's kind of my favorite race. I've done it 10 times. And it was, it's an ocean swim and it's just a very nice race. And I'd it was a good palate cleanser. It was a successful race. There were only two of us in my age group, and I finished second, but we were close. And then there was one other woman that was actually finished too. So there were three 75-year-olds. So that was a good race. And then after that one, we had the big race, which is Ironman California. So it's a full Ironman, 140.6 miles. And it just went really well. It was a good course for me. It was a good swim. The weather conditions were good on the bike. The run, not super fast, but I ended up finishing it in 14 hours and 45 minutes, which was basically an hour faster than I had done it 2 years prior, which is in Ironman terms is pretty good. There were only two of us in my age group, but I beat the other guy. So I won my age group, which is fun. And then because you win, you get the opportunity to do the world championship the following year. So talking to my wife, we decided let's do it. So signed up for the world championship for 2025. And then the last race of the year was Ironman La Quinta, which is down in the Palm Springs area. I had some big advantages in that race because I was the only one in my age group. So if I finished, I won. And I did finish. The race went well and I did win. But that also got me kind of punched my ticket to doing the Ironman 70.3 World Championship, which next year is in Marbella, Spain.
Okay.
So anyway, overall, out of my 5 Ironman races in 2024, I had 2 first place, a second place, a third place, and the 1 DNF. And the thing that I really hadn't thought much about was Ironman does kind of a global and worldwide ranking system, all world athlete. The top 1% are gold, the next 5% are silver, and the next 10% after that are bronze. And I've been bronze a couple times before. But this year, out of the 90 athletes worldwide that completed an Ironman, I was ranked #1 in the world, which was just very humbling, very amazing, very surprising. And I'm sure there are any number of guys in that top 10 that could beat me in any one race, but this year just happened to be my year.
Yeah.
So it was more than I ever expected and kind of pretty exciting. So now 2025, when they had the DNF problem at Morro Bay, what Ironman did was give everybody a free entry into a race the following year. So I thought, well, I'll do that, but I'll do Morro Bay in 2025. But then I think with the problem in the swim course, they decided they didn't want to do that venue anymore. So I ended up signing up for Oceanside. And then because Ironman Nice, this is the world championship, Ironman rotates each year between Kona and Nice. And it's the hardest bike course on the Ironman circuit. So I'm a little nervous about that bike course. So I signed up for another half in St. George, which is in May, which is, I think, probably the hardest half Ironman bike course, just for good training. So anyway, so I'll do Oceanside, then do St. George, and then September is Ironman Nice, which is the world championship full, and then November is Ironman Marbella, Spain, which would be the half. So it was, it'll be quite a year. And I think the things I learned last year that I'm trying to carry forward this year is, one, it doesn't take epic workouts. It's just trying to be very consistent and have a steady plan. The second thing, diet is just so important. You can't out exercise a bad diet. So we cut out most of our meat, try and eat pretty healthy and, just kind of stay the course on that. The third thing, which I think was their big worry that coming into this year, was you can get so stressed before these big races. So how do you just relax and enjoy it? Treat it as a celebration, not as a big challenge. And the last thing that was different for me this year was I cut out alcohol a lot more. And it's amazing, especially like with the Garmin, you can track all your body metrics. It's amazing how much better things like recovery and sleep and heart rate are when you're not drinking alcohol. So anyway, 2024 was behind me. It was a great year. And now 2025 is going to be, I think, even a bigger adventure. And I think I said earlier that Oceanside was probably the hardest course of an Ironman I did last year. And this year, Oceanside will be the easiest course. So, and Larry, one other thing that was just really a blessing from last year was I was able to stay pretty healthy. And when you look back at what you did over the year, so last year, I think I literally swam 86 miles. I biked 4,300 miles and then ran 725 miles. And so, at age 75, to be able to do that without getting injured was just, more than I could have expected. So it was a great year.
Rick Burgess, definitely an autumn athlete that's not done yet. Remember, keep moving, set your own goals and train hard to achieve them. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.